Hey, there he is. How you doing, Matt?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing okay. Just living the dream here in Detroit Rock City. What about you?
We're all living the dream these days, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I've been around a little bit longer than you. I've never seen a dream like this. I have to be honest.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
Yeah. So, but hey, you guys got some good things going on. We'll talk about that here. You got your singles, you got the record coming out, you got all sorts of stuff. Have you guys? When did you guys start to work again together during the pandemic, or is it just, or were you guys Zooming or doing whatever when this all started?
Yeah, I mean, well, with the record, we were fortunate enough to have it done before this all started.
Okay, yeah.
We got pretty lucky there. We were on tour with Skillet when this thing just hit. Like, you know, we're every day it was kind of just a moving target as if the tour was going to finish or not. And it didn't. We missed 2 dates, so we almost got it done. And now when we want to do stuff as a band, we're all in different areas. So we just came together to shoot a music video over the last week. We're actually not in the music video, which is funny. It's just a music video. It's got a story, but we all wanted to be there to see, you know, to see it, be a part of it. But everything that we do is remote. You know, everyone's in different states, different cities, different areas of the country. So if we need to get something done, we do it, you know, FaceTime, Zoom, or just, you know, text it. We text a lot. I'm sure you're probably in a text group that gets tons of text messages, and that's what we have.
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of my friends, you put a text out to all of them, and I don't know, maybe bands are different, but I'm not in a lot of group text messages. I think a lot of my friends get annoyed when they keep seeing all these messages coming back and forth. So they'll just text you directly. Does that happen to you too?
It depends. Yeah. If it's like that, like if we're gonna have like a one-on-one, then it ends up being something direct. But we've got this one group. It's like everybody that we've ever met that's cool out on the road, like all the crew and band members and stuff that we just send the most ridiculous stuff to. So you know, ourselves occupied in there. It's basically if you find a meme that's really funny or something, you send it to that group, or something that's kind of shocking. If that's like our news, you know what I mean? Like everyone else goes somewhere else to get their news. We go to our group that's got all the people in it to get our news.
Yeah. And you mentioned the guys from the Skillet, man. What a hard band to tour with. Those guys are probably impossible to deal with, right?
Oh, yeah, so impossible. The greatest people. I mean, I'm sure you've probably met them, man.
Oh, yeah.
They're like the coolest freaking people that I've ever met in my life. Like, you know, when you're a band and you're touring, you go like an entire tour sometimes without really talking to any of the bands that you haven't really met before, you know? And Skillet, it was the first night, and they called like this meeting together in their green room, and we thought, you know, them being like more of a religious band, we thought maybe it was going to be some type of like rule setting, or it was going to be like some sort of big group prayer or something like that. And it was just like, call everybody together, like, yo, what's up? This is who we are. Like, let's get this out of the way so we can have a good tour. And really that's what it was. Like, it was kind of like an icebreaker. I mean, I already knew John and you know, I talked to John a lot, and the other ones I knew pretty well, but you know, it was getting the crew together, getting the rest of the bands together, and getting everybody together to kind of just break that ice, get it out of the way so we could have a great tour. And it was phenomenal. Probably one of the best tours we've ever been on. Yeah,
that's nice that they would do that, because like I said, I don't know how many bands actually do that kind of thing. But didn't you guys do something with Jen?
Yes. Yeah, we did. We've been doing these things called the quarantine. We've been calling them quarantine covers. Basically, we're just recording things remotely. And we did Papa Roach's Gravity that has Maria Brink in it, and we did it as us featuring Jen Ledger.
Okay, so I just saw somebody, it says here, you know, please, you know, feature Mike Shinoda and Skill Knowledge. So you guys just recently, didn't you ask, I think on your Instagram or something, weren't you guys asking like who you guys should maybe collaborate with?
Yeah. You know,
now, is that a real thing, or is it just like for the fans to kind of see what your fans are thinking?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it could be a real thing. It's not a real thing right now, but I feel like, you know, social media rules with an iron fist when it comes down to that kind of stuff. So, you know, it's not like we don't have personal relationships with some of these people or have personal relationships with people who already do. But I think that a big eye-opening thing to a lot of people is what the fans want. And that's what From Ashes to New has always done. We've always asked the fans what they want, and then we try and go off of what they want. I mean, at the end of the day, they're the ones that are listening to the music. I mean, we listen to it too. We love it, but they're the ones that are taking from ashes to new to the new heights that we're going to. So we figured, hey, let's put out a question, see what people are into these days, see if we get any answers we haven't seen before, see how many times we can get someone tagged in the comment section.
Now, I got to give this a plug real fast here. Sailor Jerry's Spice Rum helps us out with this every time we do these virtual rock rooms. Also, the Diamond Vault of Troy. Got to get the sponsors in there. So you talked about collaboration. So Anders from In Flames is helping on your latest single. So tell me about that.
That came way of our record label, actually. We've toured with them numerous times, I think like 3 times in the past. So, we've known those guys. Never really had talks of a collaboration. And when we were putting the record together, the record label really loves Scars That I'm Hiding, the song that he's on. And they did a movie. Better Noise has been involved in movies. They did. They were part of the Dirt, the Motley Crue film. They did another one called Snow Babies about the opioid crisis that's going on, and they did this new one's called Retaliators, and it's got like a lot of different band members from a lot of rock and metal bands in it. So we're actually in the movie as well, but they really liked that song and they wanted to use it as kind of like a trailer, kind of like for the trailer of the movie. So they're like, hey, what do you think about putting Anders on this song and remixing it up a little bit, putting it out for the movie as like an exclusive? And we're like, I mean, for us, it was a no-brainer. It's like, okay, let's do this. You know what I mean? Like, so everything's just been really cool lately, really coming together. And when things are kind of really not good in the world, it's things have been falling in line for us, and we're real grateful for it.
Yeah, it is a time. I talked to a lot of bands now, in this last, 5 months or something. It's like you almost have to reinvent the way you reach out and touch the fans. I mean, obviously social media is out there, but doing stuff like this and, now the record's going to be dropping and stuff like that. So talk about some of the different things you've done to like connect with the fans.
Well, I noticed a comment. Here's connecting with the fans. I noticed a comment below. Someone said something about Fred Durst. I would imagine that they're referring to my red hat. Which is hilarious. I'm a Phillies fan, so by nature I have to wear a red hat, although this is Nike. I hate the Yankees. Sorry. But yeah, man, I'm sorry to go back on your question and just connecting with the fans. We don't have, live shows or anything like that right now. So we just do what we can on social media, and that's really what's been the backbone of this band all along anyways. We've really utilized social media and doing things like this, like Instagram Live and Facebook Live. And we don't just go in there and kind of push an agenda when we do like Facebook Lives. We go in and we kind of we'll plug the points that we have, like, we have a record coming out or we have a single out or something like that. But mainly it's just to go in there and say what's up to the fans, see what they're up to, ask questions, get everybody involved.
Yeah, it's a really strange time. I've been in this business for three decades, and I can't remember anything like this ever happening. And it's kind of cool in the way that it's happening now, because 20 years ago you couldn't have done this kind of stuff. Right,
man. It would have been wild. Like I would have been fighting for a place in the Hit Parader or something. Circus Magazine
Hit
or something.
Yeah, for those that are on this thing don't know what Hit Parader was, it was a magazine back in the day. But yeah, it is a crazy time we're living through. So you mentioned, so you guys are from like central Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah, I am. The rest of the guys are scattered about, but we call this home. Like we call this home base if people ask. So I'm in like the Lancaster, Pennsylvania area, so Amish country. Like I like to joke and say that I've been on Rumspringa for like the last 7 years.
I don't know what that is.
Rumspringa is like so when the Amish turn like 16, their parents give them a choice. Like you can go out in the real world and try to pursue a life as a citizen of the United States outside of the Amish community, or you forego that and you become a full-fledged member of the Amish community. So there's like, they make like TV shows on these kids that go out. They get like, I forget, they get like in a certain period of time that they're allowed to go out on Rumspringa and go nuts. So they go out and they do drugs and they go wild and they do all this stuff. So I like to say that I'm on Rumspringa like indefinitely. Like
permanently, yeah. Okay. So the real question from where you live is dry bottom or wet bottom? What do you think?
I don't know. I'm probably going to go wet bottom. The reason being is I just don't like pie with like really dry crust regardless. So, I mean, it's all in the way that you bake it though, It's funny. Yeah. Exactly what you're talking about. Shoe fly pie is delicious, man.
Yeah, shoe fly pie. So maybe 10 years ago, I took I took the family to Gettysburg and stuff. Then we stayed in like, York, Pennsylvania and all, because I'm a Harley guy,
Yeah.
And so the place we stayed at, like, people swear by either wet bottom or dry bottom. I still don't even really know the difference, but it was awesome. And it's like, I think I had my intake of sugar for like the whole month with just the one piece.
Yeah, man, it's a lot. It's heavy. It's funny, is you say that out of context with people who don't understand, like dry bottom or wet bottom. Like, what did he just say? Like, doesn't everybody prefer a dry bottom? Like, what's going on? This dude's got issues, man. What's up?
I don't think I've had shoe fly pie since. That's just kind of like an area thing, isn't it? I mean, that's like central Pennsylvania.
I think that it's in certain areas of Ohio too.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of, like, New Philadelphia is where our guitarist Lance is from, which is kind of, I don't know, about 45 minutes south of Canton. So he's in that area, and it's predominantly Amish over there too. Like, before, From Ashes to New really took off, he was in a band called Emphatic, and he was actually working, like, when he wasn't touring, he was at home working at like a Amish food market stand. So that's how, in our areas, it's like, we just joke about it. Like, our drummer's from Honeybrook, which is a little bit west of where I'm at. It's in between where I'm at in Philadelphia, and I mean, it's all Amish over there. And he used to drum for Trivium, and I said to him, I'm like, dude, like, how did you get found by Trivium in Honeybrook, Pennsylvania, like middle of nowhere? So I guess it really dials back to social media being such a beautiful thing, man. Like, without it, I don't know. I'd probably be working in an Amish country market, eating shoe fly pie every day.
So yeah, it's weird. I've been talking to a lot of bands from your area. It's like kind of crazy. Like in the last 10 years here, I mean, obviously Hailstorm's been around for a couple decades, but Motionless and White, and you guys, I'm sure I'm missing a few of them, but it's like recently I'm like, why am I talking to all these bands from Pennsylvania? So I know the answer to this, but what is the greatest rock band to ever come out of Pennsylvania?
Oh, you?
I know the answer. Yeah,
the greatest rock band to come out of Pennsylvania. All right, so I'm gonna give you a few things here because there's a lot. So I'm going to say, to me, the greatest rock band, and this is just the genre and the era that I came up through, I'm going to say Breaking Benjamin. But so my sister would say Poison. And
Bret Michaels is from them. Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, they're all from Mechanicsburg. So
they all are?
Yeah, which is right on the Ricky Rocket's like a legend at the one flea market here. So, like,
okay.
Yeah, so I mean, like, there's a lot. I love the folks in Hailstorm. They're from where I used to live just about a year ago. I'm trying to guess what you would say. I guess you're going to say Live.
Oh, Live is a good one, too. But for me, it's Cinderella. I just love Cinderella.
Oh, okay. All right. I would have never guessed that. I was like, when
because
you Live, I would have like Fuel? Like, there's a lot that came from this area, though.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, Fuel, not to mention it. But, yeah, York, Pennsylvania produced Live. Yeah, That's right. I'm trying to think of it. There has been a lot of influx from, obviously here in Detroit, there's a lot of bands that have come out here.
Yep.
But you guys have really had your share of success out there, haven't you?
Yeah, man, it's wild. People always ask, like, what's in the water over there? And I'm telling them, like, it's just there's nothing to do here. It's like, and the area around here, like where all these bands are from, like the York, Lancaster, Harrisburg, and then the Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, which is where Breaking Ben's from, back in the, through the 90s and the early 2000s had a really good rock and metal scene. So that's why you see, like, a lot of these bands, like, like Hailstorm, they played a club that we used to play all the time. Breaking Ben started out as Strangers with Candy, and they were always around, and then they had a couple of the members were in a band called Lifer, that played the area. And then you had Live just hit it. They hit it out of the park. Fuel did the same exact thing. And then there's a ton of other great bands that never really got their fair shake in the industry that came from this area.
Yeah, I want to say Fuel. Aren't they from, like, Harrisburg? Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of Bergs in that area, isn't there?
There is, man. It's a really, I don't know. It's a really niche place, but it's like eclectic, man. This is so much that happens here. It's so artsy. Like Lancaster now is just like, it's like a living flea market, man. It's like just there's different things on every corner, So it's like I said, it's eclectic. But it had a really big rock and metal scene back in the day, and that's what we all lived for. I was just a fan of it. I wasn't in it, so I got to be inspired by all these people that that we just spoke about that that really brought the scene that I'm from up, and I got to watch it crumble, unfortunately. But you know that, as with every empire, they rise and fall, right? So you just got to build a new one.
So I just did this podcast for the radio station here about my 25 years here at the radio station, and I said, like, I don't know, 10 or 12 years ago, I interviewed Rob Zombie, and next thing you know, he puts it on his website, and I'm like, I'm just a kid that grew up outside of Buffalo, right? New York, right? So what does it feel like to you? Like, I see somebody say hi from New Zealand, someone say hi from South America. What does it feel like to you as a kid from central Pennsylvania to be, to have fans all around the world?
It's wild, man. And you know, our fan base is starting to grow and grow and grow internationally. And we've always been predominantly a North America band. And now, like, our second biggest market is Brazil. Our third biggest market is Germany. So it's just, it's surreal, I guess. You know, I grew up loving music. I never really pursued it when I was a really young kid. I got into sports. Like, my dad and I were into sports. Baseball was my thing, so I was really big into that. And then, you know, I started gravitating in my late teens. I started gravitating back towards music, and I'd already knew how to rap because that's what I did when I was a kid. It was just a lot of fun. So I had already known how to do that, and then I picked up a guitar and started playing. So I always just I've been one of those people who's always kind of kept their eye on the prize, right? Like, I never really thought I was a competitor, but I didn't feel like I needed to compete with anybody but myself. And that's what I've always done. I've competed with myself to make myself better at what I do. And it's just, I'm super grateful for the opportunity that I have and all the people that have come in and become From Ashes to New fans from across the world. Again, like I said, to sum it all up in one word is surreal.
So I'm just going to guess here, and I may be totally wrong, and this might be stupid, or you may have heard this a million times, but I'm going to guess you were influenced by, like, the Linkin Parks and the Papa Roaches growing up. Is that right? Or
yeah, I mean, that's pretty accurate guess, man.
Okay.
Growing up, I was actually more influenced by rap music, so like Eminem and DMX and like Tupac and Biggie and stuff like that. Like, I was really influenced by those artists. My sister was like into the grunge era, so she was like a huge Pearl Jam fan, and all her boyfriends when she was a teenager were all like diehard Megadeth and Metallica fans and stuff like that. So that was a little weird for me, man. Growing up, like, I was like, I don't want to like what my sister likes, so I like rap. I was rebellious. You know, she was 4 years older than me too, so you know, it wasn't really cool to me to like what she liked. So it was just a bit different. But Linkin Park is the band that crossed me over into metal. So, you know, in 2000, oh man, it's almost 20 years now, huh? So yeah, it's crazy. So
Hypertheory is right around 20 years old. So did you ever get a chance to meet those guys?
No. I've played a festival with them. They were so big, man. It was like they came in on a motorcade right from their plane. You know, they had security right to the stage, and they played, and security right off the stage to the motorcade and gone. You know what I mean? So it would have been wild. Our manager for the first 5-6 years that we had when we started this band actually managed them, but that was the only connect that we had. And everything else is like, it's like escorting the president in and out, man. It was wild.
I have to keep touching my screen because for whatever reason it starts to shade out, and I don't know why it does that. I got to have IT look into that.
Good on my end, man. You're good to go.
Yeah, I know. I think if I let it go too far, I might lose you. And I'm technically handicapped. I don't know how to do this technology stuff, so I got to figure out what I'm doing here. So, yeah, I had a chance to meet Chester a bunch of times. What's that?
I said we're all going to be that way when it comes to technology.
Yeah, no doubt. I had a chance to meet those guys a bunch of times, you know, and I was lucky enough to. And Chester was just like the nicest guy, and you know, it's really sad, you know, to see how things shaked out for him. But I think they've got some stuff coming out. Well, let's talk about your record here. So it comes out August 28th, is that right?
Yes.
So how many tracks? Tell me about the flavor of it. Is the rest of it, like, I mean, obviously we've heard Panic and The Scars I'm Hiding, but what's the rest of it sound like?
It's a lot of different stuff, honestly, man. Like, we took what we decided to do with this is, and this is what we're saying about this record, is we went back to the roots of the genre. And I feel personally like a lot of artists are starting to get away from what made this genre so great. And I'm not just saying the rap rock genre, but I'm talking about the hard rock and metal genre in general. Like, in the years that we just spoke about, the early 2000s was when I mean, these artists were selling out arenas and stadiums on a regular. You know, I mean, you couldn't get into these shows; they were packed. I can remember going and watching Breaking Benjamin and Stained at the Hershey Stadium in Pennsylvania from the parking lot because I couldn't get in to the stadium. You know, so I mean, things were massive back then, and of course, like I said, empires rise and fall. I just think that a lot. And I'm not saying all, so I don't want people to go out there and take what I'm saying and drag it out of context. I'm saying a lot of people have gotten away from what I think made this genre so magical. And that's what we wanted to do with this record is we wanted to take a little flavor from what we've already done as a band. We've always had a strong electronic approach to what we do. But we wanted to go more organic with this record, more drums, more guitar, more, single vocal track takes, less harmonies, and just go back to the roots of what we love and what we know and bring that out in 2020.
And so you're saying this record was finished before all this stuff hit, right?
Say that again, I'm sorry?
The record was finished before March.
Yeah, it was finished we finished it before the new year. So it was, we finished 3 days before Christmas, flew back east from Los Angeles, and then, it's got to go through the mixing and mastering and that phase. But we finished tracking the end of 2019.
And so with the quarantine covers and stuff, I saw Bullet for My Valentine, tracks like that. How many of those songs have you done?
Let's see here. We did Bullet for My Valentine, Tears Don't Fall, Papa Roach, Gravity, Avenged Sevenfold, Nightmare, Linkin Park Faint, Evanescence, Bring Me to Life, and we did a parody called Wake Me Up When 2020 Ends, which is a parody of Green Day's Wake Me Up When September Ends. So
you got any more? You gonna be doing any more covers or?
We are. We actually have a few that we're kind of sitting on right now that we haven't released. There's obviously a lot going on with the record coming out in less than 2 weeks. I think it's like 10 days the record's coming out. So we've got a lot of that stuff that we've been working on. We just released that Scars That I'm Hiding video, and obviously as much as I do in the music industry. You can be great to have a ton of content, but you can also oversaturate. So, we're grateful to be able to have all of this material to continue on while we don't know when we're going to be touring again.
Yeah, it is kind of strange because back when this all first started, and I'm assuming the weather where you are is kind of like here, where it's like the spring was, it's like cloudy and chilly and rainy and whatnot, and people were kind of in their houses and. I got the feeling like people just wanted some sort of familiarity. They weren't really looking for a lot of new music. And now all of a sudden it seems like bands are starting to pop with these new records. I think that people are starting to really kind of embrace it. Does that make any sense?
It makes perfect sense. And I've been kind of, tooting that horn, if that's what you want to call it, for a long time, man. Like people have the phone in their hand 24/7. I mean, when they're awake, their phone is in their hand. When they're not focusing on one other thing, they're focusing on their phone. So I said to the label and management, because there was obviously a toss-up as to what we wanted to do with this record. It was a moving target. We didn't know, most of the time when you release a record as a band, you release it on the heels of a tour, and we didn't have the ability to do that. And like you said, you're seeing a lot more pop up because people are starting to realize, who the hell knows when we're going to tour again, So I think that it's the best idea is these people, everyone has their phone in their hand or everyone is in front of a screen at some point. So why not give them new music while they're looking directly at what is delivering it to them? Not everyone's coming out to your show in Wichita, Kansas. You know what I mean? It's not like the country's coming out to Wichita, Kansas. But they are able to see everything on their phone, and that's what I feel like we've been doing so well as a band during this shutdown period. Is we've been able to get in front of a lot of people because of way of technology.
I got to give this one more plug here. Sadler Jerry's Spice Rum helps us out with this, and also Diamond Vault Troy. I was plugging this last time with Lejean from Seven Dust, and he's like, yeah, man, I should be able to get some rum from all these plugs you're getting them. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a second, don't you want a diamond?
Yeah, right. I'll take a diamond over a bottle of rum.
Hey, I've never been to Wichita, so how is Wichita?
I mean, it's good, I guess. It's enough. People ask me that question about a lot of cities, right? And we roll in on the bus. You usually don't wake up till like 1 or 2 p.m.
Right.
The crew's like, hey, you gotta get on stage for sound check, or hey, you got VIP in 2 hours, get ready. and we do that, and then it's done. When we roll to the next city, it's very few times. City. Yeah, I mean, you've probably seen the meme. It was like, and this was funny because it was like bands and vans, so it's even more extreme. But there's a meme that's like what people think I do on tour, and it was like they're like sightseeing, and it's like, and it was like what I really do, and it was like some dude driving a van, the other dude in the passenger seat with his feet kicked up on the dash, like, you know, I mean, we're not in a van anymore, thank God, but you know, I mean, it's like that, you know, I mean, we get to see the cities and the countries from a window. It's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like Jurassic Park, but we're band members, you know what I mean?
I do know, yeah, you guys, and you know, you guys do it in the same city. I tell people all the time, it's like, I can understand how some of these bands get drug and alcohol problems because while you're in Cleveland partying with all your fans and stuff, the next night when your fans are home sleeping in bed, you're doing it in another town with more fans, and it goes on and on and on, just like that every single day.
Yeah, I had to stop. I'm actually sober now 4 years.
Really? Well, congratulations.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It was not easy. I quit drinking, smoking, drugs, all that stuff. I had to because I exactly what you just said. Like, you know, I'm a type A personality, man. So when you start mixing substances into type A personalities, it gets a little extreme. And I already don't really care what people think about me. So when you start putting sauce on that, man, like it becomes something completely different. So. But that's exactly what it is. Like it's a party, like for 2 months straight usually. So it's like, you know, I remember before we got signed and I would go out and I would party. It was a weekend thing. Like I would go out Friday, Saturday night. I would have drinks. I'd be hungover all Sunday, and then I would wake up Monday and go to work. And you know, that's the way that I had lived life for the majority of my young adult life. And then when my band got signed and we started touring, it was okay. You have 1 day to recover, or it was like, you know, you have 3 shows, 1 day off, 2 shows, 1 day off. And it's like that 1 day off is just, I mean, you're traveling too. So it's miserable. Just think about being the most hungover you've ever been in your life. And the only way to sleep it off is in a moving vehicle traveling down the road at 67, 70 miles an hour. So I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to die. I have to stop or I'm going to die. So I had to give it up, man. But I definitely live vicariously through a lot of people I know.
So that's crazy because, you know, normally it takes bands they're a little bit older when they decide to do this. And I have a lot of my friends like, and this is, I'm not talking out of school, but Brad from Three Doors Down told me he was drinking on the tour and stuff all the time because he was bored. And now when he goes tours, he does try to sightsee, he tries to go to a museum, tries to fill his time with other things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on social media all the time, man. Like, I'm just promoting, plugging. Like, when I'm on tour, it's just I'm constantly thinking of new ways to be able to take the band to new heights. So that's what's replaced everything for me. And if not, it's, you know, I'm talking to my family, or I'm you know, just hanging with the guys, and I'm in a band that really doesn't have a lot of substance problems, you know. So a couple of the guys will let loose here and there, but it's not an everyday thing. Like, they still treat it like a, you know, a weekend thing. So I'm grateful to be around a pretty good support system for somebody like, I mean, it's been 4 years now, so it gets easier as it goes for me. You know, when it first started, man, it wasn't the easiest thing in the world. It was pretty difficult to be able to be around that. So.
No, there's no doubt. It's like, but you know, I've talked to enough people, and my cousin just told me she was 8 months sober just yesterday or something. And I see that, and it's like, you got to turn that hour into a day, into another day, into a week, into a month. And, you know, and it's hard. You're right, man. I can't imagine doing it, especially when you're on tour.
Yeah, I mean, it's the easiest way to open up around people you don't know, too, you know. And for me, like in the beginning, it was difficult because I'm out touring with all these bands that I grew up listening to as a fan. And I always tell everyone, like, I'm a fan first. Like, at the end of the day, like, I'm just in this, like, this kid position. Like, I just feel like this kid that's, like, out watching all his favorite bands, and then all of a sudden I get to tour with them. You know, so how to be around these people that ultimately, I mean, think about it. Like, when you meet someone that you really look up to, and you don't really know what to say, the first thing that happens is you get nerves, right? And the first way to calm those nerves is drink a few beers, you know, and put them beer muscles on. All of a sudden the nerves are gone, and I think that happened a lot with people too. You know, I was always really good around people, but when you get around really large crowds of people and you're expected to be some type of personality, you really have to try and figure out how to do that. And, you know, it's a blessing to me that I was able to put down all of the substances and continue continue being myself. Like, I really looked at it in the beginning. I was like, okay, like, you're going to need to do this without this. Like, this can't happen your entire life. So I would tell myself all the time, like, just be you. Like, and I have that, like, tattooed on me. It says "be you" on my thumbnail.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and on this one it says "believe." And like, those are reminders to myself. Like, just, you don't need anything else outside of who you are to just be who you are. People are going to accept you for that. And we're seeing that a lot more nowadays than we used to too. You know, people are really accepting of other people, and it's becoming such a thing to be a part of that. Hey, you're back.
Sorry, I just had a little glitch here in the thing here. But, well, listen, yeah, sorry about that. It's technology.
It's all good.
Well,
yeah, man.
That is so amazing, man. Congratulations. I'd never expected that part of this conversation, but that's really cool because I think that a lot of people look up to what you guys do, especially people that aren't in your line of work, because I completely understand what you're going through, but there's people out there, you know, that try to kick stuff or whatever, and it's like, and they maybe are looking for some inspiration. I could count right now on these hands people I know that have been sober for 4 or 5 years in this business I've known for 15, 20 years, and it's never easy, but they just put one foot in front of the other, and like I said, turn a day into a month, you know?
That's all you have to do, man. I treat it like a football game, right? Like, you always hear the coaches at the end of the game, like, we don't think about the win we just had. We celebrate it for a minute, and then we get back to focusing on what the task at hand is. And that's exactly what I do. Like, you know, I don't even know the date that I got sober. Like, I didn't pay attention to it. I just know that I stopped, and that was it. And, you know, I'd done that with smoking cigarettes. I started smoking cigarettes when I was 13 years old. You know, it was just one of those things as a kid. It was like, whoa, smoke cigarettes, I'm cool, you know? And I did it for forever. You know, I did it for as long as I can remember, and then I quit. And then I quit for like 3 years, and then I started smoking again along with my drinking. And it was like, oh, man, what did I just do to myself? You know, so I did the same thing with that. As the last time I stopped doing that, I was like, you know what? I didn't pick a date. I didn't think of a date. I just decided I'm done, and I'm not looking back. I'm looking forward. And that's kind of how I try and just approach everything that I do in life. Is I'll look back and I'll reminisce in some of the great things in my past, but I try to forget all of the things that I've done that have, you know, made me feel bad about myself or may have been damaging to myself. I try to forget how they made me feel, but just remember to know that not do them again, because they're not good for me.
Yeah, it's good advice. You know, I quit smoking too, and it was one of the hardest things I ever did, but one of the best things I ever did, because I smoked for probably 15 years or something, and I just, like, I tried to quit like about 8 times, and it was never, I just, you know, I couldn't do it. I finally just did it, you know, and it's like, it's been like 20 years now, which is, you know, like I said, one of the best things ever. So, well, I'll tell you what, dude, looking forward. The new record drops August 28th. And we're looking forward to that, and maybe you'll hit the stage somewhere here.
yeah, man. I hope so. I hope to God, man.
Well, man, so great to take the time out with you and talk to you, and good luck with everything this year. And we'll get the new record and check it all out, and I can't wait. So
thanks, man. I appreciate you having me.
Hey, congratulations on your sobriety too, dude. That's really cool, man.
Hey, congratulations on not smoking, man. The food probably tastes a whole lot better now.
Hey, I'll tell you this much, though. I have enough vices to work for all of us, so I'm all good with that.
Coffee this whole interview, my man.
I got my Diet Pepsi, which is probably not good either.
Hey, man, I'm sure it's better than a lot of other things.
Perhaps. All right, man. Hey, thanks for the time. We appreciate it.
Your feet all day. Don't do that. Get away from that, man.
That's right. Hey, thank you, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, brother. Take care, man.
Good luck with the record. Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. See ya.